Hello, travelers. Welcome back to Traveling with AAA. I'm your host, Angie Orth. You know that moment when you're finally at the airport, bags are checked, boarding pass in hand, and you think, nothing can stop me now. And then something does. A flight gets canceled, your luggage goes rogue. You wake up on day 2 of your dream trip feeling absolutely terrible. It happens to the best of us. And today we're talking about exactly that. What goes wrong when we travel, what we can actually do about it, and what the latest research tells us about how travelers are thinking, spending, and planning right now. My guest is Daniel Durazo, the Director of External Communications at Allianz Partners USA, one of the most recognized names in travel protection. Daniel is a go-to voice for travelers when it comes to safety, insurance, planning, and the ever-shifting landscape of where and how people are exploring the world. Daniel, welcome back to the show. It is so good to see you.
Thanks for having me back, Angie. It's great to be here.
So let's talk about where we are first. Because last year we were at the Jefferson Hotel.
Which is a beautiful hotel here in Richmond.
Gorgeous. And now we are at a very special place for Allianz. Tell me about it.
Allianz Amphitheater at Riverfront. So this is a brand new facility. It's in its 2nd season. And when you were here last year, I don't even think it had been completed yet. But so we've got 1 season under our belt. We just started the 2nd season. Allianz couldn't be more proud to be the sponsor of this awesome venue. It's an outdoor amphitheater for folks who haven't been here. It's right on the river. It is put up by our partners at Live Nation Entertainment. And they have done a great job managing this new venue. We've had some great acts. Dave Matthews was here last year. Sting was just here. They've got a lot of great acts throughout the summer. And it's just such a great vibe to come out here and watch one of your favorite acts and just take it all in this great atmosphere.
Richmond is so beautiful. And so what we're saying is Sting was here. Dave was there.
Yeah.
And we're sitting
in this. Sting was sitting in that chair. Dave was sitting in this chair. Because for folks who are watching this, we're in one of the dressing rooms. So this is where the talent comes to hang out. And now here we are.
I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Very cool.
I feel greatness upon me today.
I know, it's just all wafting in. It's great.
Well, let's set the scene for listeners. You work at the intersection of travel and protecting travel, that investment every single day.
Yep.
So what is a bad day of travel? Like, what does that look like from where you sit?
You know, it's a really interesting question because this year we've had some bad days of travel. It's been kind of a rough year for some people. We had the government shutdown and the long TSA lines, and that was going on spring break adjacent when travel was really busy, talking about the war in the Middle East. And that affected a lot of people, primarily who were transiting through the Middle East or who were visiting the Middle East. So we had that. Then we had some really weird stuff like hantavirus, which I had never heard of, and was a pretty small contained thing, but people were concerned. We've got Ebola. Is back. And I remember from when it was going around the last time, pretty much stuck in Africa. But people are concerned about things like this. It's just never a dull moment for travel, I think. And so that's where we come in. We can make people feel more confident about traveling. But I think, you know, the upshot of all this, travel has been amazingly resilient. People have not stopped traveling, even with those long TSA lines at spring break. I don't know if you saw on TV, everybody was still traveling. They didn't care. They got to the airport 5 hours early. They went on their trips. Then we had a big Memorial Day weekend. As we record this, we're coming up on 4th of July. And that's going to be huge. We just think it's going to be a huge summer for travel. So all these kind of, I don't know, some of them are inconveniences, some are more than that, but they haven't deterred people from travel. It's going to be a big year.
How often are people dealing with these serious things that come up when they're away from home? We talked about some of these things that are out of left field. Like those are kind of crazy things, a little more out there. But what about the bags that are lost and the cancellations and things like that? How common is that for people?
It's very common. And that's why we're in business. You know, there's things that happen. You book your trip and you have the best intentions of going on that trip and having a great time, but sometimes the kids get sick or sometimes an older adult falls and breaks a hip, or some other situation happens which travel insurance covers, those things happen and then you have to cancel your trip. So the only worse thing than having to cancel a trip is canceling a trip and losing your money.
Yeah.
Because if you lose your money, then you're not really sure when you're going to be able to go again. If your trip is protected by travel insurance and one of those covered reasons happens, you can get your money back and you can go another time. Now you ask, how often do these things happen? They happen to our customers every day. Thousands of people are impacted by delays. So if you're ever going to the airport, your flight's not going right now, you're going to be delayed. It's not the worst thing in the world, but if you have travel insurance and you have delay coverage, experienced travelers know that at a certain point that travel insurance delay coverage is going to kick in. You can use the money to take the kids to the restaurant and get them those expensive airport meals.
Yeah.
They're always so delicious, but travel insurance can help with a lot of those situations. You mentioned bags, and there's baggage coverage for lost, delayed, and stolen baggage. So there are a lot of great things that travel insurance can help with.
It happens. Like if you travel at all, you're going to have a hiccup at some point. It's just part of it. You are not going anywhere in a lifetime and not getting delayed, canceled, stuck, something's lost, or you get sick. Like those things are it's going to happen if you're traveling at all. So I'm looking at this data. 56% of American travelers are worried about delays and cancellations, which actually seems kind of small to me, but maybe that's just because I pay attention to these things. 56%, we should all be worried about that because that happens all the time. 46% are concerned about getting sick abroad, and 44% are stressed about lost or delayed luggage. I hear that all the time. Yeah. People are like, I wouldn't check a bag for all the money in the world because it could get lost. I've been lucky in that respect, but I'm sure my time will come. And when it does, I will call you.
Thank you. We'll look forward to your call.
So which of these actually happens the most often and which tend to catch people off guard the most?
All right. So just to back up a little bit, the data that you're talking about comes from our 2026 Allianz Partners Global Travel Confidence Index. So that is a survey that we do every year. This year, we surveyed 2,000 Americans and asked them their attitudes about travel, how much they're going to spend, what they're going to do while they're traveling, things like that. So of the 56% that you mentioned, delays and cancellations really are kind of the bread and butter of our business. It's what we help people with most often. And what travel insurance can do is to cover those non-refundable prepaid expenses when you have to cancel your trip for a reason covered by the policy. So as we mentioned, you can get your money back and go on your trip another time. There's also other things that Americans worry about, and those are the delays. You get to the airport and the flight's not going. But the thing that really can be daunting is a medical emergency while you're traveling.
Yes.
So it's daunting in a couple of ways. One, if you are away from home and you get sick or injured, one of the kids does, or an older adult, how are you going to navigate that situation? Who are you going to call? What are you going to do? We can help with that, with those logistics. And also, if, God forbid, you end up in the hospital, like I did when I was traveling one time, we can pay those costs. So we can reimburse you for whatever those emergency medical costs were. And then things that get really expensive are when people need to come home and they need extra care. We've brought people back on air ambulances. We brought people back in commercial flights with nurse escorts. We brought people back a variety of ways depending on their condition and how they need to be brought back. All that can be almost impossible to navigate on your own. It can be incredibly expensive, and that's one of the things travel insurance covers as well.
So let's talk about the financial realities of right now, because it's more expensive to travel this summer than it was last summer. Yes. So the index shows nearly half of Americans plan to spend less than $1,000 per person on a summer vacation because the rising cost of travel is their number one concern, which makes sense. We were just talking, I've never spent more on flights than I have this year. Domestic flights have been super expensive. So when somebody's already watching their budget, how do you make the case to add travel insurance on top of that?
Yeah, I think you have to think about the investment. So you said $1,000 per person, right? So if you get a family of four, that's $4,000. $4,000 is not a small amount to spend on a trip. So think about, is it worth protecting a $4,000 investment in case I have to cancel this trip? And I think it is. I think it's easy to make the case now with higher prices that this is an investment and it should be protected just like your other investments are protected with insurance, your house, your car, et cetera. Plus, if you have older relatives you're traveling with or the kids, really, why take the chance?
Yeah.
Why be without it when you know that something could happen and your trip may be impacted by one of the reasons that we cover?
We're doing a big family trip in a few months, and I am waving the flag saying everybody has to have travel insurance. It's just worth it to protect the investment, like you said, because if one thing goes wrong, and we just don't want to be in that situation.
Yep. And the Trip Protect products that we offer through AAA have a lot of great coverage and benefits. Some of them are just specific to AAA. So, talk to your travel advisor and get the lowdown on that.
Okay, so there's a stat in the index that I want to ask you about. 41% of American travelers say they won't have travel insurance this summer, and that's twice the global average. So why do you think Americans are more likely than other travelers in other countries to skip travel insurance? Are we overconfident?
Maybe we're overconfident, but I think there are a couple other reasons. So one, travel insurance is still kind of a relatively new concept for a lot of people. It hasn't been around forever like it has been in Europe. In Europe, you really have to have travel insurance when you leave the country because your medical coverage will not go with you. So something happens, you have to have the travel insurance. Europeans and other people in other countries really are familiar with that concept. Americans not as much. I also think America is such a big country. I can go anywhere within the borders of the country and have a great time. I can go to Montana, I can go to Florida, I can go to New York, I can go to Washington. Lots of great places to go, and my health insurance will travel with me. So I think people are thinking, well, I don't really need travel insurance because I'm not leaving the country. However, even those smaller trips, like those road trips, can be covered with travel insurance. So Trip Protect products cover trips 50 miles or more from home. So if you're doing a road trip this summer, like I am, I'm going to the beach, and it is more than 50 miles away from home. My prepaid non-refundable expenses can be covered on that trip. And it's great to know that, it's not a big trip, but I'm still going to be covered. Why wouldn't I take that extra step and purchase that insurance?
Well, it makes me laugh as a person who has used travel insurance and who has come up against a lot of these various incidents over the years. But 51% of people say the risk just feels too low. So what do you say? And I just laugh because if it hasn't happened to me, it's happened to somebody I know. I have known people who've lost their luggage for good. Like it never showed up ever again and they had to replace everything. I've known people that have had medical emergencies and had to be flown home from foreign countries. I've known people who've slipped and fell in the Amazon and broke their back. So in the travel industry, I know too many people with too many stories. But how do you feel about that people say the risk is too low?
So we hear that a lot, but I'll tell you what we also hear a lot. People creating GoFundMe pages.
Sure.
Because they're stuck someplace and can't get out. They're in a foreign hospital and they won't let them out until they pay their bill. We see people maxing out credit cards. We see people trying to get money from friends and relatives when they get stuck. And I don't want to be that person. I want to go and I want to travel confidently and know if something happens, I'm covered. I'm not setting up a GoFundMe page. I'm going to let the travel insurance.
Just to get home.
Just to get home.
To try and get home and get medical coverage.
The thing about travel insurance is I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
I mean, that's the reality.
That's the bottom line for me. I like to be prepared so I can go on my trip and not have to worry about anything.
Let's talk about what travel insurance really covers.
Okay.
Because there's a gap between what people assume and what's actually there. And sometimes you don't figure it out until you're in the middle of a situation. I can attest to that. So what are the core protections and are there lesser known benefits people should know about?
So the core protections, I think, are things that we've talked about, trip cancellations, and that's the number one reason people purchase travel insurance. So if they have to cancel their trip for a reason covered by the policy, they'll get their money back. They can go another time. Trip interruptions is another core benefit where I'm on my trip, I'm sick or injured, I need to come home, I need to interrupt my trip, and that'll pay for last minute flights to get home and that type of thing.
Yeah.
Travel delays, being stuck in the airport, pay for that stuff. That can pay for your meals in the airport, ground transportation, lodging if you're stuck overnight, up to the limit of the policy. Baggage issues we talked about, lost, damaged, stolen, delayed baggage. Even with delayed baggage, you can get some money to buy essential items while your bags are on their way.
While Allianz Amphitheater is known for hosting world-class concerts, today's recording is a perfect example of how the venue can be used for so much more. Beyond the stage, Allianz Amphitheater hosts corporate events, company picnics, graduations, private concerts, filming, and more, all set against the James River and historic Tredegar. Whether you're planning an intimate gathering or a large-scale event, their full-service special event team can help bring your vision to life, from planning to execution, for parties of 25 to 7,500 guests. To start planning your private events at Allianz Amphitheater, please visit allianzamphitheater.com.
Let's start with global doctor visits.
We launched global doctor visits, I think last year or the year before. And what it is, it's just such a great benefit where if you have emergency medical coverage in your policy, you can call us or use our award-winning Allianz mobile app on your phone to schedule either a virtual or an in-person doctor visit in more than 100 countries. So this is a game changer. You're somewhere out of the country, the kids are sick, you know that it's an ear infection or strep throat or whatever kids get, right? So you know that you just need a prescription. So you can go through us to set up a virtual doctor visit or in person if you're more comfortable doing that. And you can get that prescription sent to a pharmacy and then go pick it up, and the kids will get better and you can keep going on your trip. So really the doctor visits, I think, is huge. You will get 3 of those per trip if you need them at no additional cost to what you've paid for your policy.
Wow.
So you do the doctor visit, you're not out of pocket, you're getting taken care of, and you're on your way. I mean, really, what could be better?
That's amazing.
It's great.
3 per trip.
3 per trip. I wouldn't suggest using them, but
Right. You don't want to have to, but just in case.
Just in case, if you want to use them, I mean, if you need to use them, rather, they are there. And it's such a great resource. You can call our 24/7 travel assistance line, and they will take care of you, or you can go right on the Allianz mobile app. There's a button for doctor visits within that app. It'll see where you are, can suggest local doctors, and you can schedule a visit right there.
So easy.
It's great.
That's easier than if you got strep throat at home.
It really is it's almost easier and a lot cheaper than getting strep throat at home. So wait to get strep throat until you go on your trip, and then
that's my whole healthcare plan, Daniel.
Some free health care.
What about...
There's some other good ones, though, too.
Yeah, what about veterinary emergencies?
I love to talk about veterinary emergency because I'm a pet lover.
Okay.
Are you?
Of course.
Okay, great. So I love dogs. I love cats. I've had them all. And who wants to go on their trip if the dog or the cat is like sick or injured?
Not going to happen.
You're like so worried.
Not going to happen.
Like, what is going on? Like the dog or the cat is at the vet or whatever it may be. I mean, I think it's really hard to enjoy your trip if you're a pet lover, pet parent, and one of the pets is not feeling great.
Yeah.
So in the case of a veterinary emergency, that is a covered reason for trip cancellation or trip interruption. So you could cancel your trip and not go, or you could interrupt your trip if need be, if you're already on
The dog sitter calls and says Fifi is unwell.
Yeah, Fifi in a car got tangled up, and now Fifi's at the vet.
And I'm on my way home.
Yeah. Because I know those pet parents, you know, they love their pets, and how could they fully enjoy their trip knowing that Fifi wasn't doing well?
I know I couldn't.
I couldn't either.
No way.
No.
What about the cruise benefit? Talk to me about missed ports.
Yeah, there's a couple good cruise benefits, and they're good for different types of cruises. So missed port of call. So you're on a cruise, and you may know that there are certain ports that you're going to stop at. So sometimes you miss those ports for various reasons. 1, there's an issue with the port. 2, it could be weather, maybe an issue with the ship. These things happen. Trip Protect products can offer missed port of call benefit. It's a $100 convenience payment. And, it's not going to make up for missing the port necessarily, but you got $100 in your pocket. You can spend it on the ship or at the next port.
Yeah.
It makes you feel a little better about missing that port. So it'll make you a little happier for your inconvenience on that. And then the other one is tied to river cruising. And this is one that I like to talk about. It's high or low water. So if you're on a river cruise, typically in Europe, sometimes there's been too much rain, sometimes there's not enough rain. The ships can't keep going. Sometimes they'll take you off, put you on a bus, go around, and the ship will catch up to you. But if there's a high or low water situation, you can either cancel your trip and not go, or you can interrupt your trip if you want to. So high or low water is really a great benefit too. And that is one that is available on Trip Protect products.
Okay, take us through the claims process because, say you're at the airport.
Yeah.
Say I'm at the airport.
Yeah.
Come to find out my flight is delayed indefinitely or canceled. What is the first thing I need to do? And does it start on the Allianz app?
The claims process is actually more straightforward than you might imagine. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to read your policy to see if the situation that you're encountering now is covered by your policy. So the kids are sick, you can't go on your trip. I'm looking at my policy, yep. Someone becomes seriously ill or injured, I can cancel my trip. That's a covered reason for your policy. So one, read your policy so you understand what is covered. Two, it's time to gather those documents. So we are an insurance company, you are filing an insurance claim, you need to document your loss. So it's not as hard as it might sound. You need to pull together, if you're traveling, you want to pull together the documents like your itinerary, what you spent with your various travel suppliers, and your proof of payment, which could be credit card receipts, that type of stuff. So you get all that stuff together. And the great thing is if you're working with a AAA travel advisor, they may be able to help you pull together some of that information for your claim. So you've got all that stuff. You can go on our website, and we have a brand new claims portal, which will help very intuitively guide you through the process. There's also a video on the claims portal, which you can watch if you'd like to be educated before the process. And it tells you step by step what you'll need to do. So you go onto the claims portal and you start filling out the forms. You can upload your documents. And then if we need anything else, we'll let you know. But most claims are finalized within 30 days. Some really simple ones a lot faster than that. And you can get your payment and book your next trip to take your next vacation.
Yeah, it is very easy to use and to upload documents as long as you keep your documents. And that's an important thing to do. I know some people aren't really into saving receipts, but if you have travel insurance, just keep everything, and if you need it, you need it.
Yeah, in the case of a delay, you want to save those receipts on what you spent while you were delayed. So there are some things to keep in mind. Save those receipts.
Okay. Well, I want to talk about some of the travel trends data in the index, because obviously I was diving into that. I love a good chart and a graph and a survey. So 85% of American travelers say they desperately need a vacation this summer, which that doesn't surprise me at all, because I've been saying that forever, whether I do or don't. I'm always saying it. I can be on a vacation and saying I desperately need a vacation. So which group is fueling that demand?
So I desperately need a vacation too.
Yeah.
We're in the same boat.
Yeah.
And what we saw across all demographics was everybody felt this way. Everybody really wanted to take a trip. Everybody really valued travel. And they wanted to take the opportunity to get away and take a vacation. So really across all demographics in the survey, we found that. But what we really found was younger Americans drive a lot of trends. And they are the group that really values that time off the most. They want to get out and explore the world. They want to get out and get out of the office or wherever they may be and really relax, unwind, and be able to experience new things. So those younger Americans are really driving that.
They do value their time off, and they protect it in a way that older generations maybe didn't, and saved that time till retirement or waited until retirement to travel. So I do think millennials and younger, would you say, are driving that?
Absolutely.
So who's spending the most on their summer vacations right now? It's me. I'll just say that. It's me. I have a problem.
So the survey found out that 35% of Americans are very interested in luxury travel. So I don't know about you, but I was surprised at how high that number is.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like a lot of people really are interested in luxury travel experiences, and younger Americans over-indexed in that category of planning to take a luxury trip. So it's like something that they really want to experience, and maybe it's a once in a lifetime thing, maybe it's going to be a regular thing, but we are seeing a lot more interest in luxury travel. And I think if I was a luxury travel resort or cruise line or whatever, I think we'd really look at that demographic and think about how can I get these people to come try this, because it's going to be a lot of try it, see how you like it type things, but luxury travel is going to be big.
Now, see, is that luxury travel like, oh, I'm into it, or, oh, I can afford it? Because those are two different things, right?
I think it's aspirational in a lot of ways, where people, maybe they've saved up for it and they want to try it, and then they can decide whether it's a good value in the future. So it's really important that they have a good experience.
So where are Americans going? Where are people most likely to travel this year?
So the survey found that 51% of Americans are going to stay domestic this year. So that's most of Americans. And again, as we said, it's a big country. There are a lot of great places to go.
Plenty to do and see here.
Yeah, plenty to see. And then let's see, 19% were going to go abroad. And the rest weren't sure when we asked them. And when you talk about people that are going abroad, again, those younger Americans are driving that trend, over-indexing on the people that are planning to go abroad. So again, a great group to target if you're talking to people about international trips, because those younger Americans really are interested in experiencing, everything that the world has to offer. And there's so much out there. I mean, who wouldn't? But that's the group that really is interested in that.
And we've talked about it before, how 2020 taught us that travel could stop. If things could change so quickly that whether people have the funds or not, especially the younger generations, they're going to go. They're traveling, they're prioritizing it over other things. So that seems to be the trend that's continuing even more this year.
Yeah, so we saw a lot of people in the survey foregoing other expenses so that they could afford to travel. And they've just prioritized it. That is the top priority, and I will forego some of the other stuff that I might have been spending money on so that I can make sure I have enough money to go on these trips. So really, Americans have prioritized travel. We saw it very strongly in the survey this year, and I think it's a continuing trend.
That's really interesting. When I was prioritizing travel in my mid-20s, that was not what everybody else was prioritizing. There were other priorities. And so it is interesting to see years later how that has changed. And people really do see travel and saving budget for that as something to save for, something that's really important.
It's a thing now.
So, here's something that jumped out at me, and we have talked about this before. Ticketed concerts, festivals. People are traveling more than ever for shows. And I am one of those people.
Nice.
I am on the bandwagon of going somewhere for a concert. It's so fun.
So we think people should come to Richmond and visit the Allianz Amphitheater at Riverfront. It's a great venue. It's a great city. We have a great time here. And Live Nation will treat you to a fantastic experience. I call this the Taylor Swift effect. And really, I think it started with Taylor Swift and all her concerts around the world. People are thinking, well, I want to go to Europe and Taylor Swift's going to be there. And the tickets are actually cheaper there than they were here.
They were.
So let's tie it all together and do a trip and see her. I think it goes to a desire for more experiential travel, where you're just not going and sitting on the beach anymore, but you're going someplace and you're doing something. And there's so many great concerts, festivals, sporting events. We're in a World Cup year. I mean, that is creating a lot of travel. Everything that you can pull into your trip to make it even more special and even a greater memory.
Yeah.
So this is a trend that we're seeing more and more. The Taylor Swift effect. I made that up, and I hope that I can get some money out of that someday. So I don't know.
You might get a lawsuit out of that. I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry, Taylor.
So this concert thing, this Taylor Swift effect, this is the single leading driver of summer vacation travel for Americans this year. This traveling for festivals, traveling for events. That's wild.
It really is crazy to think about how closely people have really adopted this mentality of, I'm not just going to go do touristy stuff. I'm going to build in an event and make it even more special and a better memory, and maybe take the kids there. And it'll be a memory of a lifetime, really. So, it's great.
I just went to a residency in Vegas, and we went for the residency.
Nice.
But then we did all the fun things in Vegas too, and ate all the good food, and had a great couple of days. So it really is just a fun excuse to go somewhere.
Vegas is great.
So fun.
It's so fun.
And you can get a lot done in 2 days.
Yeah.
Really a lot. You can spend a lot of money too. I can attest to that. So what does this tell us, this trend? What does this tell us about, I guess, how the motivation to travel is changing, and also, again, who's driving it? This is mostly Gen Z that is gung-ho for this.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of people who are jumping on this trend. And, we've been involved at Allianz. We've been in ticketed events for a long time. We have a nearly 20-year relationship with Live Nation Entertainment, where we've been providing the ticket protection to their customers. So you'll go on their website to purchase event tickets, and you'll be offered our Event Ticket Protector product. And it's very similar to travel insurance, where you can't attend your event because of a reason that the policy covers. You get sick or injured, or something else happens that we cover. You can get all the money back that you spent on your tickets and the fees, like the parking, et cetera. And it's a bummer that you're going to miss your event, but you'll have the money back, and you can go to another event at a different time. So travel, events, we're at the intersection of both. And through our great partnership with Live Nation Entertainment.
68% of travelers now say they factor in environmental risks.
Yes.
To like extreme weather when choosing a destination. I know I'm doing that for a Caribbean cruise in the middle of hurricane season.
Wow.
Giving that some thought. So how does that shift the conversation?
So it's funny that we talk about this, because we're in Richmond, Virginia today, and it's 100 degrees outside.
Yeah, it is.
So when you guys were planning to come to Richmond, you weren't thinking, I bet it's going to be 100 degrees outside when we get there. No, this is an oddball heat wave. And really, the world has just become very unpredictable as far as weather is concerned.
Yeah.
So we are at the very beginning of hurricane season, and hurricanes can impact your trip, especially if you're going to the Caribbean and Mexico. You're going on a cruise, those types of things. One thing that people need to know is that travel insurance covers unforeseen events.
Yes.
Right? So what you want to do to take the most advantage of travel insurance is to purchase your travel insurance when you book your trip. That'll give you the longest period of coverage possible at no extra cost. And once a hurricane is named, you can't then buy travel insurance to protect yourself from that hurricane, because it's now a known event. We only cover unknown, unforeseen events. So buy your insurance when you book your trip. There's a lot of weird weather going on out there. Hurricane season is ramping up. You want to be protected. Who can predict, now, if I book my trip now for 3 months from now, I can't really predict what the weather's going to be. So I want to be ready for it.
No, and honestly, as a Floridian, a lot of people don't know, there could be a storm named 2 weeks before it affects anybody.
Sure.
It could be way out there, but
Sure.
have a name and just be coming on. So if you're waiting till the week before to get some insurance, that might not work out for you.
Yeah, that's going to be too late.
Yeah, it's really risky to do that, especially in these hurricane-prone areas.
Yes.
Especially. What should people know before booking somewhere? Anything else? We're booking somewhere with complicated weather?
Think about, the what ifs. I like to think about the what ifs and be ready for the what ifs. So once you have the what ifs covered, you can go on your trip and you can have a great time and not worry about anything.
Well, and if you're a super chill person, which I am not, I am the anxious traveler of the group, so I think ahead. But if you're the more chill traveler, you might not think of all these things that could go wrong. There are people in the world that don't think about that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't understand. And when flights used to be $150, to cross the country, maybe you could afford to just let that go. But flights are $800 now. So you really have to think about protecting that investment. So for somebody who has booked a trip and is hearing this and thinking, gosh, maybe I should get travel insurance. When is it too late for them to book?
As long as you haven't gone on your trip, you can still purchase travel insurance to protect it. But my motto is always buy when you book.
Buy when you book.
Because a couple things happen. One, you'll get the longest period of protection that you can. You don't know what's going to happen between now when I booked and then when I'm going to leave. So to be protected then at no extra cost, but also you really have no idea what might happen during that time span. So buy when you book.
If people take away one thing from this conversation today, what would it be?
So one of the things we found with the Allianz Partners Global Travel Confidence Index that we just did was that people are desperate to take a vacation. They cannot wait to get away. They really value the opportunity to travel, and they are prioritizing travel. So what I would say is if you're thinking about a trip, pull the trigger, because now is really a great time to get out there and refresh, renew, recharge those batteries.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking about taking a trip, there's so many options. AAA Travel Advisor is a great resource to help you kind of figure out what you want to do, what fits your budget, what fits the family vibe, what's going to make everybody happy. So I say get out there and do it.
Get out there and do it. YOLO.
Yeah, do it.
Right? Now's the time. Daniel Durazo, thank you for joining us. And thank you to all of our listeners for being with us. If you're planning a trip, be sure to connect with a AAA travel advisor. Check out AAA.com/travel or visit your local branch. This podcast is a production of Auto Club Enterprises. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and leave us a review. I'm Angie Orth. Thank you for traveling with AAA.